gentlemen, hello and welcome along to another first impression piece from us. As you can see, we are joined by Mr. Dave Perry from Kverneland, UK, and he's going to talk us through one of their Siloking self-propelled diet feeders. So Dave, we won't hang about today, we'll dive straight in. So first of all, what model of self-propelled diet feeder have you got for us today?
So today we've got the 500 System 500 Plus 2519 machine, and it's a 22 cube machine. So it sits in the mid to higher end of the offering from Siloking on self-propelled machines.
Right, got you. And what sort of customer would be wanting a machine sort of this size?
So
what's it suitable for?
So the System 500 Plus is 500 cows plus is the idea.
Right.
So
closing the title there.
Yeah, 500 up to 1,000, maybe 1,500, depending on your stock and things like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are the advantages of a self-propelled diet feeder?
So it's efficiency in quite a lot of different ways. One being loading accuracy. So we can reduce the loading accuracy down to sub 1% with this machine, whereas with a trail machine, most customers will be running around 5%, maybe up to 10% accuracy, just because of the nature and the way ingredients fall out of the bucket into the feeder, and time constraints as well. Right. It's a lot easier to be more accurate with this because it's quite easy to do it. Also fuel usage. So quite a lot of the time we'll see on demonstration, we'll see a reduction of around 15 to 20% in fuel when you combine the loader and the feeder tractor.
Yeah.
And also time reduction as well. We'd also expect to see at least a similar reduction in time as well.
Right, and what power is this one?
So we've got a Volvo Penta 6-cylinder engine. So it sits at 252 horsepower on this machine.
So she's got some grunt there?
Yes, yeah. That's one of the main things we've seen in the last sort of 9-10 years we've been playing with them in the UK, is we've always needed horsepower for clamp silage.
Yeah.
It's quite power hungry, and pulling it out of the clamp, maize and whole crop and things like that are like water.
Yeah,
they'll fall out of the clamp. Yeah, flows in really nicely.
So tub-wise then, Dave, what have we got on this machine?
So the 500 Plus, as we said, we've got the 19, 22, 25, 27. So the 19 is just a shorter version of this with slightly smaller Orgas. The 22 is what we've got here, let's see in front of us. Then the 25 is a taller version. Again, it's about another 200 millimeters taller on top of this machine. And then the 27 is actually a wider tub, slightly longer and taller again than the 25 by about 5 centimeters.
Right, and they would all sit on the same chassis in this?
All sit on the same chassis,
right.
on 4-way cells.
So it's literally just the tub that changes when it comes to the capacity differences?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, everything else stays the same.
So what about wall thicknesses, floor thicknesses, things like that?
So we start off with obviously, for the weigh-in platform, we need a nice solid tub to start off with. If the tub is able to flex, that affects the weigh-in ability of the weigh-in system. So we start off with a nice thick base plate here, and then we go up into 6mm Silonox hopper wall on this machine. So on the self-propelleds now, we tend to go on the bigger machines for the standard Silonox hopper walls. So it gives us 3 times the life, the wear factor of the ST52 that we'd normally see in the standard trail machines.
Right.
For thickness and wear factor. So that's Silonox from the base plate here all the way to that weld up there before the Flow Plus on the top.
Yeah.
Because obviously the more wear happens here in the tub than up the top. And then that includes the chocks in the centre as well that do the lifting.
Okay.
The high pressure points. And also as well, areas in the door as well, we'll see when we open the curtain as well. There's a strip across the bottom of the door that it guillotines down to that's Silonoxed as well, because obviously all the material's got to pass over that, and if the door scallops, we don't then get a tight, watertight seal on the door when it shuts, when we're putting molasses and water in the machine. Right,
so we have a little lift of the skirt and have a look at these Orgas. Apologies, we've got a little bit of material in there, we had just been playing around a little bit, but just talk us through your Orgas.
So the Orgas, you can just about see on this edge here, so we've got a 15mm auger, which again, same as the hopper walls, is ST52 steel on the standard, and then we put a 6mm Silonox lining on top of the auger, full width. So basically, with any vertical diet feeder, we want to lift the material up and allow it to tumble back down, and the speed of mixing is how fast it comes back down and comes back through again into the mix. So if we have, when we get wear in augers, they tend to round the edges off. So instead of lifting, they actually outwards.
Yeah.
So as you very quickly lose your mix efficiency when those corners round. So by Silonoxing, we can do Silonox edging or Silonox full lining. Silonox edging obviously maintains those edges for far longer. Silonox winding protects the whole auger for a lot longer.
Onto the door. Show me
Yep.
your door options. What have we got on this machine?
On this machine, we've specified heavy-duty doors on the back on both sides with hydraulic flaps for dropping down to feed into. So you can feed into a low trough or just feed up on the floor on the barrier. But also as well, when the flap lifts up, it secures the curtain as well.
Right.
So we don't end up when we go down the road.
Exactly.
So
No,
it
we
keeps
don't want
everything intact. But nice big wide doors for quick discharges down long barriers.
I'm going to say it's a big door, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Right, so we slide round, back round the other side.
Yeah. So that's our right-hand discharge.
Yep.
And then we've got the same on the left-hand side.
So
exactly
this is
the
exactly the
same.
same width,
Yeah.
same as that one on the other side there.
Yeah. So we've got big HD door, back right, back left as well. So also as well, we can discharge both sides at the same
Yeah.
time if we've got a narrow passage.
That's
we
it.
can just go
Ideal
straight
if
through
you
and
have
out.
to back down a passage,
Yeah.
feed out left, then feed out right.
Yes, we can get the feed to within
I'm gonna say
half a
couple-
metre or so
yeah,
of,
yeah,
the,
you're there, aren't
of, the, of, the, of the end of the feed fence, so
Yeah.
up to a gate. And then also as well, we've got the option as well fitted here for throwing into troughs. So this conveyor will push out to about here somewhere, so it allows us to drop off this front left-hand corner into troughs.
Spot on. Well, while we're here and looking at it, just talk us through the chassis and the running gear of this machine.
Chassis, we've got a similar box section chassis running underneath as we would do on a trailed diet feeder. Big heavy duty box section again. As much as we don't want the tub flexing and twisting,
Yeah.
we don't want the chassis flexing and twisting because otherwise that affects the weigh-in. And then we've got steering axle front and rear, which is standard 4-wheel steer, front wheel drive with a 4-wheel drive option. And then we've also got the more chunky tyres, the winter profile tyres on there. We tend to put that as a standard tick on the sheet for the UK. Just gives us a bit more grip on greasy surfaces and the clamps and stuff.
That's it, yeah.
But we're running on a Kessler earth moving axle, so it's designed for high-speed construction machinery, cranes and that sort of stuff, because 70-ish% of the weight is normally based around the front axle, which is why it's the driven axle. And then we've got air suspension, so it's on lorry airbags front and back, and also air brakes front and back as well. Yeah.
And road speed, what is it?
So it's 40k on the road with a 50k option.
Right.
So the split high and low.
Yeah.
So we've got a yard speed and a road speed.
Right, Dave, so round two, the front end,
Yep.
which is, looks like we've got a fair unit at the front here for
Yes.
milling and cutting and whatnot. So yeah, talk us through this.
Yeah. So on the front of the milling arm, we've got a